The SGC Foundation is grounded on the principles that you don't need a title to be a leader and you can't have too much fun helping children. As such, the foundation provides fun and recreationally related activities that benefit children. The foundation's focus is to bring individuals and organizations together into a partnership where all are treated as equals, with the end result of making today and tomorrow a better place for children of all ages. Most importantly, it's all for the kids. And remember, if it ain't fun, we ain't doing it. To donate to the SGC Foundation, please go to www.sgc-foundation.org. Thank you for your support.
Welcome to It's All for the Kids. I got David Chen in the house. Hey, David, it's been a while since you've been on the show, or I've been on yours, because you've been traveling all over. I know you got Mike Lucas going overseas, so you get to stay home a little bit in Texas.
Oh yeah, it was a hard toy toss. Mike was like, Asia, or you can stay in the US. And I was like, Mike, we're gonna let you go to Asia. He just took off without me. No, he had a whole time out there. It was amazing. He was running around, and I had the joy of coming back and being here in the States, which is nice because taking care of family and the things we have to do, sleeping in your own bed is amazing. So I'm glad Mike took it off and did it on his own.
So I always say that you're president of GTIF plus the gaming and teaching at different universities. So I'm always trying to catch up to you to see what you got going next. Because last it was, the summer league of the NBA, and now you got with the guys with the bare knuckle boxing. And I've seen pictures of you down there at ringside, buddy. So let me ask you, how is that to sit at ringside for bare knuckle? I mean, it's not like they got gloves on, right?
Bro. It's almost like watching a bar fight when you're growing up.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you.
Flying everywhere, or a neighborhood fight minus the kids are still shouting fight, fight, fight. So it's the same thing. But what's so intense about bare knuckle fighting that makes it significantly different is when you get punched in the face, if you're a man. You hear that old Mike Tyson thing. Everybody has an opinion because you get punched in the mouth.
Yeah.
I was sitting there with Sugar Ray Leonard. with Shea Mosley and Uriah Hall at one of their fights, Knucklemania last year, out in the Peacock Theater in LA. And when you hear that pop, 15,000 people, you hear that pop. I mean, it is loud. And then it's insane. It's insane. It's truly what I think the antithesis of actual fighting is and boxing is, and it really kind of takes it home. So you get someone like Mike Perry, who did pretty well in the UFC, and really, really good at BKFC until he fought, Jake Paul the other time. But getting punched in the face with your knuckles is a pretty hard thing.
I know. That's what I was going to say. I mean, it's one thing to wear, 12-ounce gloves, 8-ounce gloves, whatever the gloves are, that Tyson the boys wore, and Ali, hitting. But now you don't have any of that, man. And, first off, it's going to hurt to get hit in the face with bare knuckles. But don't they sometimes break their knuckles hitting you?
Yeah, I think when you get bare knuckle and you fight as much as you can, it reminds me of the old Shaolin movies where you're punching the steel and your knuckles are getting calluses. Or if you remember the old Rocky when Balboa was going on 6, and he's punching. Yeah, I think a lot of those guys have crazy knuckles. They're really, really strong. I remember speaking to Shane. I said, Shane, would you do this? And Shane goes, fuck no, I wouldn't do this. He goes, I'll break someone's face. And he's like, I'll get my face broken into. I think boxers and fighters recognize how crazy this is. Uriah Hall was with me, and I just remember telling me, I said, would you do it? Uriah's infamous for him versus Chris, and Chris kicked him in the leg, and his leg broke in half, right? Yeah. And Uriah's like, I wouldn't do this. I mean, he's like, you have to pay me a pretty good amount of money. And I think that's the point, right? On the 26th in January in Philly, we have our Knucklemania 5, and you got big old Eddie Alvarez, who's from Philly, a big UFC fighter, and big BKFC fighter, going up and fighting in his hometown. And so it's more about that and the pride than anything else. It's pretty crazy. I mean,
I know that we had Natalie, on our show that's right below UFC, fighting, female that that a lot of the girls that she set up to fight back out at the last minute. So she hasn't had a fight in a long time. And I said, would you ever go in there, because, the kickboxing and everything else fighting? I said, would you ever do the bare knuckle thing? And she goes, Stevie, we hurt one another as it is, but no, I'm not going in there just to do bare knuckle fighting.
Yeah, it is. It really is something else, man. I think it's when you go to a fight, it's definitely a difference. And most fights don't last more than 2-3 minutes. But what's crazy about bare knuckle is, dude, these guys fight like 4 or 5 times a year. They do like Mexican boxing style, right? Like 180 fights in like whatever, like a year and a half. It's crazy. It's crazy. But cheers to them and their ability to do so.
Oh, I understand that. So what else you got on the horizon? I know this is getting the end of 2024. It's our 20th year doing the foundation. So every year we try to figure out what we're going to do next. And people ask me what's next. And I can't tell them because I can't tell you what's going to happen because something just happens. I don't have a crystal ball. So I know that you're also doing a lot of, teaching on the gaming on the campuses and stuff. And so, and I know, so is the gaming that you're doing part of what Avery does, or is Avery doing separate from the gaming that you're doing?
It's interesting because we talk about gaming, and I go back to that moment in history when Johnny Broadway, right, when Joe Namath does what he does, right, and wins and does what he has to do, or the Yankees win. It's these experiences as a kid that you see that made you fall in love with it because it was the moments of life. So we golf, right? So I'm with you in golf, baby, because of the moment with you and your brother, right?
Yeah.
So that's the same moment now that these kids get when they're playing video games. And what's happening is they're reliving these moments and they're attracting and they're meeting people. What's interesting about the video game thing is, as you know, now in my mid 40s, the new generation is, I hate to say this,
you're so old,
so young, right? But these kids are very, very hard to get a hold of. And the reason is when you see these declining numbers in NBA viewership and NFL and things like that, and you see these increased numbers in gaming, it's because the way they understand it and the way that they work on everything. So our goal is to be able to work with them directly into big brands. So use Avery as a good example. Avery's magnificent, right? She's 2 seasons into Netflix The Mole. She's the only person who got brought back from there. You met her during the foundation thing that we did with you in Phoenix, SGC and NACL. And, she competed against Miss Arizona. She's faced Razor. She has all these shows online. She recently just had a video that it's the funniest video. And when you see it, Stevie, I'll send it to you. It's a dog with a balloon. It says, how many balloons does it take for a dog to fly? It's 1,000.
Oh, man. I saw that. I saw that picture. And she says there's 1,000 balloons.
1,000 balloons, right? And it was like watching Up, right? It was crazy. Well, that goes viral again. And she's created her own shows. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. When you think of these content creators, when you think of multifaceted athletes, like NFL athletes and business people, we often do one thing, which is our business is singular. And if we don't work, the business stops. And so one thing I always realized when I was watching Jerry Maguire, I just had this conversation yesterday with one of the NFL guys. I said, the question now becomes, I never want to be the guy who was getting the $250 million check. Not that I wouldn't want to get one in the NFL. I always wanted to be the guy who was cutting you the check.
Right. Yeah.
Right. That was always the difference.
Yeah.
What's happening now is with this new economy and digital, people can skip the traditional ways of doing it and put their stuff out there like we do a podcast and run around for everyone to come in and know who they are and have this fan base. And Avery's doing that. We picked up a quite bit amount of, great athletes that we started working with and managing on the side of things. And what I believe is when you work as an athlete, you got to teach them what they're doing, let them understand everything, and allow them to know how to make royalties and have good money, right? And have great opportunities and investments where they can still find themselves, be themselves, have fun, baby, like we're saying, but actually make business, right? In any ways they want to do it. And so one of the guys that we just recently picked up, and I haven't made this announcement yet, so we'll definitely talk about it when it comes out.
Okay.
That's want to be Monday or Tuesday, but I'll tell you here first, is we signed a deal with Sugar Ray Leonard, right? The Sugar Ray Leonard, full-time baby.
Wow, man. He's one of my favorite boxers.
Oh, I can see that, man. Hey, between the Bar Star and the Sugar Ray Leonard, I got you, Stevie, baby. I already know.
I mean, Sugar Ray was like one of the coolest ones to watch, with that whole hand speed shit stuff going on. And, man.
Marvin Gaye smooth, man. Just rhythmatic, punching, went through like that. You know, Ollie had a different version of the song, but I would go Marvin Gaye, like the way he was doing it. It was all like, let's get it on, and it was like smooth, right?
Yeah,
But
exactly, man. I mean, I didn't know you got connected to Sugar Ray. Dang, buddy.
Yeah, it just happened. You know, him and my good friend Ray Leonard, we were last year at the Super Bowl party, and you know, we were hanging out, and Ray is his son, and you know, real legacy, real smart guy, and Ray's like being you, man. We really want to help the kids and make things happen, and so when I talk about Avery or I talk about Ray Leonard or Sugar Ray Leonard or any of the other companies we're working with, it's really about getting the brand to anticize and people want to do it. What happens to most people, I think, when we're doing business and things like that is they'll hire lawyers, they'll hire accountants.
Oh God, yes.
But they won't hire business people to help them do their business. And here's the thing, like you talk about education. Like I remember thinking about this, we talk about this all the time, like when we talk about our athletes, we talk about these foundations, what is the ultimate person or the ultimate credibility, right? Is it
right.
Is it education? Is it money? Is it helping people? And I think it's a combination of all three, and there's levels, right? A lot of people have money, but are they helping the world? And when you look at this thing, a lot of people own businesses, but what type of businesses, right? One is I might own all the real estate and all these things around there. I've done real estate, but for me, you're stuck in a place with employees that need something all the time, and it's a headache. And going from there, where in the world that I'm in now, I can run around, as you were saying, and do business with different people around the world. And that's my job, right? Going with you out there in New Orleans is a job that I like to do, but that's the new economy. I don't have to be stuck, right? And I think a lot of people don't know how to do that. So masterfully in the last year, we really helped everyone, not just in branding and marketing. As you know, I've taken, as part of FaceCloud and took them to $1.2 billion IPO, and that was through marketing and branding with a negative $36 million EBITDA, right? Negative $36 million EBITDA.
Yeah.
One thing I learned is a lot of guys aren't taught how to do business, and a lot of business people don't hire business experts to help them with their business. So I tell people, I'm like, you hire a lawyer, you're not going to go on, legal whatever and try to do on your own. You're not going to go WebMD and try to, diagnose yourself. You hire someone, but when it comes to business, as the CEO, you only know what you know. And then what ends up happening is you're not supposed to know everything, so you don't ask everybody everything. And then your business, the 3, 4, 5 grand, 10 grand that you lost, the 2 grand here, could have totally been saved by hiring somebody in the beginning to start, just like hiring, an attorney in the start when you're trying to do your LLC in your company. And I often see that happen to a lot of guys. So as you know, I was talking to a guy yesterday, 70% of guys in the NFL end up going broke after 5 years of coming out. So our goal is now to teach everybody this, and these young men with their influences and their abilities, and teach them this in a way that is compatible with them in their time, one-on-one, and help them really grow their business, the foundation. I call it the Jerry Maguire effect, right? Show me the money, baby, but actually care. And I think that's
and getting into that, that's where you and I met a couple of years ago, by phone, whatever you want to call it. Zoom.
Oh, that's right. We did meet a couple of years ago. I always forget that part, man.
Dude. And it is past year. It just so happens that Reggie Grant, unannounced to you and me, right? We both get invited to be part of Reggie's what I call financial workshop, because I don't know what it's actually called, what the real title is, but it is so cool because Reggie invites all different aspects of people from different aspects of business, right? From the girl that was WNBA playing basketball over in Italy, Jordy, and you, me, Mike Lucas,
Floyd
Mayweather Senior was there and everything. And we all had a little piece. And I asked Reggie, because when Reggie asked me if I wanted to speak, I said, Reggie, what's the agenda? You got what you want? Am I on a panel? The old mindset, right? That you're in a box, right? That this is what you normally do. And he said, no, Stevie, you talk about whatever you want. Just talk about the foundation, how you got started, how you set up, your business. So you start looking at this whole deal, Jerry Maguire, right? It's like, show me the money, teach me how to do this, because a lot of people don't know. Like you say, CEOs are up in their office thinking that they're supposed to know everything, waiting for people to come in there and teach them on whatever it is. And nobody ever goes up there because it's like, I got to go talk to their secretary. I got to go talk to their administrative assistant. I need to go talk to their legal staff first, right? So it's amazing what you, I, Reggie, others have done by just holding podcasts of getting out there and teaching people, breaking down that ivory wall.
Oh, I'm excited because, at the SGC event we talked about in Super Bowl in New Orleans, baby, it's going to be fun. We talked about going upstairs and, us having our session about educating and working with them. And I'm going to do it in 3 areas. One is branding, marketing, and return on investment.
See, I was just going to say that, I'm glad you brought that up, okay? Because I know we're going to get in this and didn't mean to cut you off, but you're right. We got a special room upstairs for you while Reggie's doing his thing up there that you can do the gaming, you can do the Jerry Maguire, let me teach you how to, write the checks, get the checks, what have you up there. Because you don't know this yet, but I'm going to break it here. I was going to have you and Mikey, okay, seeing there's so much out there on Bitcoin, okay, that there's platforms that are fake platforms, real people, fake people, that I was going to talk to you, okay, because I know it's easier to get a hold of you sometimes than Mikey since he's over in Asia, okay, about, hey, why don't you take like an hour on that Wednesday, February 5th, and just talk about the realism of how to do Bitcoin or what to look out for, who to use, because so many people on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever you want to use, network, there's so many people out there that aren't real, taking advantage of people. It'd really be cool to have people that that you recognize by face to be there to teach that part of Bitcoin or whatever else you want to call it, right?
100%, man. I appreciate you telling me that. One thing I did in crypto, as I came in 2017, brought in Snoop into the crypto world, which started the IRL phase. And then we did an ICO that was the only ICO live that was actually in TechCrunch in San Fran. So when I do crypto and ICOs, baby, I do it way different than everybody else.
But see, Stevie's one of them old farts, right? Stevie's close to 70 that everybody's hitting up. Hey, you're doing this, or you can use Bitcoin to grow your foundation. It's a way to go do the Jerry Maguire thing. And I'm like, there's so many gotchas out there that you run the traps with, you bump into that's a trap. So then basically you just say, F it, right?
Right, right.
Hey, look, we are on YouTube. We can use the F word. But you know what I mean? You just say, fuck it, I ain't going to mess with it, even though there's so many people out there that are doing it, making money. But you're like, I don't know where I want to jump in. I want to wait. And I've talked to Mike, Lucas about this, that, hey, dude, teach me how to do this because you're one person I've met, that I trust, right? So I'm thinking maybe we make that as one of the hours down there in New Orleans.
Let's do that. I mean, let's talk about this real quick, about crypto and where it is. The number one thing is it's greed. That's all this is, right? Everyone comes in, it's $500. I could have bought it 15 years ago. It was $5,000. I couldn't have bought it in 2019. It was $23,000 in 22. 23 is $60,000. Before Trump comes into office at $95,000. Now, you can take something in 15 years at $500 and it goes up to $100,000. And we've all been to this story. Hey, I was offered 3 billion Bitcoin in 2012. I was like, what the fuck is Bitcoin? And I'm from Deloitte and this shit can't be legal. So imagine that conversation sitting in front of a bank in Mexico City at their biggest financial district during coffee. And my friend's telling me this. I'm like, and his name is actually Steve. And then he goes, Steve, I'm like, Steve, what is this? The point is, you just said it. You don't know what you don't know.
Right.
So let me break this down for you. And this is what I want to start preface by saying this. As you know, I was a managing partner at Deloitte, right? Deloitte's the biggest finance firm. The one thing I tell everybody in businesses, no matter what you do, you still have to hire someone from Deloitte to look over everything. So that's the first part. That's your audit and your finance. The second thing is when you're learning from someone is their education. You go to Harvard, you go to Yale, you go here. Most of these crypto guys don't actually have it. But having a finance background is good because you can understand the economics, which is the basic principles of supply and demand for crypto. That's all this is. I have 5 of these. I'm being greedy. I'm going to up the price just like they did with the housing crisis in 2008. Same concept, stock, same concept, right? But here's what the difference is. Talk about education is, do they teach it? Are they educated? Do they write the curriculum, right? So, I'm writing the curriculum at WVU, major, minor, SMU, right certification, where the head of Sony PlayStation Global Distribution is one of my students. That's real education. Who do you teach, right? Who's are the biggest guys that will come in going with you at SMU learning? That's what I'm doing. I'm in a couple countries now. So I was about education, right? When you're in education, you're going from there. The thing that I learned is the business angles and the trends from different countries, Vietnam, Nigeria, England, China, whatever it is, to understand how they understand this as a whole, right?
Right.
The third part is the last part, which is return on investment. How quickly do you want to make this money, right? And going from there. And the problem with this typical issue is they get really detailed and they go from here and try to explain it. And all this is, if I tell you, is it's a Mickey Mantle baseball card and everybody wants it. And then people destroy the other Mickey Mantle baseball cards. There's only one Mickey Mantle baseball card. And that's what crypto is. It's that simple. It's just like trading cards.
Right.
Right. It's that simple. So for us being able to teach and going from there is important. But the biggest thing is they're scammers and they scam. So I am actually working with a company with a guy who basically captured $1 billion in scammers in 45 seconds.
Wow.
Right. Through digital. And so what does this mean? It means that some people don't know that they're scamming because they look at a concept and they think it's the way to do it. So it might be some of their 20s. You don't know any better. I don't remember my 20s, right?
Right.
And not until you get to your 30s and 40s in business, how you understand what regulations are and this hidden world of regulations that don't exist that you don't know until you know. But I do caution this, everyone else is, if you don't know what they do, if they haven't previously done something, the odds are the investment is not going to be that great. They might have gotten lucky. You can hit one. We all know it. Everyone gets a homer. It's done. And that's what you're trying to do. But we're talking about guys who are consistently batting 333 and above. We're not talking guys who are hitting 50, 60 home runs a season, guys who are doing 40, 30 RBIs. I don't watch baseball, but this is like years ago, things like that.
No, I know.
That's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to put your money into something based off of them telling you it went up 100 and you saw it, but they didn't move it to 100.
No.
They didn't physically move that product. It's a byproduct of everybody coming in. That's the difference, right? So that's like saying McDonald's went up in shares, but the McDonald's that I own, that one franchise, changed all of McDonald's. BS.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
but the part that's most important is you can make the money and it's going that way. And the way that you have to learn it is base by base in their principles and their practices and how they do it. And the guy who's running it, because if the guy who's running it is a big enough name where he's outside of the crypto game and he cannot afford to lose his reputation everywhere else, that's why I do business. So I tell people, David, why don't you work with me? I'm like, because I sit on the boards of these biggest companies in the world and I teach at the biggest universities. And quite frankly, I can't lose out for 100, 200, $1 million. It's not worth it to me.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. And so, I think, crypto is a really interesting thing. And it's going to go what it's going to do. And every country is talking about it. I was at the United Nations speaking at one of their sub events about sustainability and fashion in Africa. And everybody, even the head of the mining, coalition, they want to do crypto, but there are cautionary tales that come with that. Right. And so knowing what it is going to be extremely important. It's part of everything we do, but knowing how to do it, I think sitting with the big guys like the Bitcoins and the ETH is where I kind of feel safe. Everything else is just is very, very risky, and you could do it. But I'm not a financial advisor. I wouldn't give you advice, but if I had to pick two, that would be those two.
But see, that's why I think we ought to do that. Hey, so let's take a quick little break because then we'll come back and talk about what we got going in New Orleans. You brought up about doing that room of teaching gaming and everything. So let's take a little break and do a little commercial for actually that room in the cigar party on that Thursday, and we'll come back and start talking about doing that room upstairs and what we got going in New Orleans, you and I.
How fun.
Do you like a good cigar? Not me. I like a great cigar. And if you enjoy a great cigar, like these guys, then you want SGC cigars. Not only do you get a great smoke, but a portion of the proceeds from each cigar goes to help the children. And let's face it, it's all for the kids. And if it ain't fun, we ain't doing it. Enjoy. Did somebody say cigars? Well, hey, plan on coming down to the SGC Big Easy Let It Burn Cigar Party on February 6, 2025, 7:30 till, who knows when. Timberlane Country Club, West Bank, New Orleans, hosted by Mike Bankston, Daryl Clack, and benefiting the Cafe Hope and NOLA Children's Hospital. Be there.
Hey, we're back. We're back with Dave. We were talking about, that crypto coin, and and I get tired, and I don't know if you see these people or not, and I'm sure you do because you're in more circles than I am. And they say that to grow your podcast, you go on other people's podcasts. So I get so tired of these people saying, "Hey, Stevie, you can make more money for your foundation. Look, I just made $6,000 in crypto. I made 100,000. Blah blah blah. I donate 25, 30% of my money that I make off of crypto to taking care of the orphanages in, China, Singapore, wherever, right?" And, no offense of who they are, but, you get to the point where you're like, yeah, really? If you can do that, then why don't you write me a check for SGC Foundation to help the kids here in America, right?
Right.
So that's where I get tired of everybody saying I'm making, hey, man, I'm doing short-term, long-term, short-term. I'm doing short-term mining. I made $6,700, $8,000 a day, 20 grand. You're like, okay, well, put your money where your mouth is and send me some of that money to go help children's hospitals or something, to prove that it's real, because until you do, I could write stuff, and make a graph that looks like I just, invested in crypto and made $20,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, again, I think it's the underlining thing where people talk about it's the fear of missing out, right? That's what it is. It's like, oh, I could have done and go from there. But the fear of lack of understanding brings more self-loathing than anything else.
Yeah.
So for me, it doesn't make any sense. You don't know what you don't know.
Well, that's why we hang with you and Mikey, because, we all want to learn, and we all, if we're smart enough, our brain's like a sponge, and we just hang around with people, learn more from everybody. We give out knowledge. And that's one of the biggest things that, you, I, Reggie, Mike, the NFL guys that we hang out with, we're always talking about what's going on, what we're doing, how we can help people. Because at the end of the day, we're always trying to help somebody, rise up, get somewhere, and help the kids or help whoever. So that's how, you and I got together. And look, this has been what, 3-4 years now?
Yeah, it's been 3-4 years. And one thing I'm excited about and I want to talk about is, I think we could do a gaming tournament like we did with Joe DiMaggio in Miami. I'll talk to the people and we can do that and raise some funds. So it's pre-done online, and then we can pick the hospital and give the money to, like we do with Joe DiMaggio, right? So that's what I do with the gaming side of things. But let me get back to what you were saying about this education thing. I was talking about the education, I was talking about my Deloitte background. After 20, 30 years of working, if you don't take the quick route and you do it the right way, something magnanimous happens. If you move in the right circles and you have an objective, most people, when they make it, we'll talk about football, right? The objective as a person is to make the touchdown, right? Or intercept to go from there. But then we have our objectives in business, but we don't have our objectives in life. And then we don't have an objective combining both of those together for peace. So as you know, Stevie, through the 3-4 years, I've now developed internally, as I advise businesses and brands like the Rollins and the Bare Knuckles and the biggest brands in the world, and University of Mumbai, things like that. Now, as I became friends with people like yourself, all my friends were like, "You're giving me great advice. So you should really make this into a personal advisory thing." So that's what I started doing. I started bringing on a couple of clients, big celebrities, different people that needed help, and there's different areas. And I said, bring me your business. Let me look at it from a Deloitte standpoint. Let me teach you what it is. Send me everything, your finances, your marketing, your branding, your sales. Right. This is what I do for my retainer, like attorney would. But I'm going to review everything in the beginning, and I'm going to tell you, here's your issue with the setup. So there's no way that your LLC is going to make it to a VC and an ICO because you already set up as LLC. It's not going to work. I mean, you know that, right? Yeah. Down to the financials and the leaks. This matters because most people say, "Well, I understand an accountant, I'll hire an accountant." That's what happened to Wesley Snipes, right? You don't hire accountants to know your numbers. but I teach them. I'm saying, here's what to look at, here's your issue. Here's a marketing issue. Here's your investment issue. Everyone has to look at themselves as BMI, a brand marketing investment. So the marketing is SGC TV is going out there. We're marketing. We're helping your brother. We have these great cigars. We're doing these amazing things in New Orleans, right? The return on investment is how quickly we make this money back off everything we have to do, or how maybe we can help. But the branding is the most important part, which got praised, right, to billions of dollars, which is what is the consistent message that when people see, that's who that person is, right? That's the part that's often confusing. So in business and in life, we forget. When I go, who are you and what's your core and where have you written down where you're going to be 1 year, 5 years, 10 years from now? The last time you did that was probably when you were 10 or 11 in elementary school. I'm going to be an astronaut. I'm going to get old, just think about it and you talk about it, but you don't physically write it down. Now, as an attorney, you know, as a producer, right, as a rap artist, what is it? It's consistent. It's writing it down, thinking of the thoughts, manifesting it, and making it happen. But you don't know what you don't know. So I educate it based off the basic principles I teach at the universities and the things that I did, because, you know, partner at Deloitte, no degree, right? All the things that I've done to get there, working the system, because a homeless guy who came to this country with nothing, right, who wasn't particularly legal at one point, made it to ownership, executive top status in one generation with no help. How?
Right.
How? Right.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right. Because you know that's
it. So the answer goes like this: with the utmost belief that a higher source or God is guiding us, there's no way in America that some kid was able to pull that off unless it was the greatest American story ever. And that's why we came here. And I tell this to people all the time. I said, when you come to America, when you think about America, because you know I'm from Taiwan.
Yeah.
It's the 84-85 championship with when the Celtics, or 85-86, the Celtics are going against the Lakers, and we're in a little village in Taipei watching the skyhook with Jabbar. It's the moments that you're watching on TV and you're watching Grease and you're watching The Godfather and you're watching Wall Street, and it's all these foreign people who know these movies, because the foreigners in America are telling everybody around the world what America is. No other country, and I've been everywhere else, does not have a bunch of foreigners giving out free publicity about the country. That's the first part. Second part, America is the land. It's the greatest country in the world, the land of opportunity, everything that we can get. You make it, you grind, you work your ass off, you're going to make it, and you do the right things. I believe, you know, back in the day, as Hulk Hogan, right? Say your prayers, eat your vitamins, help every single American that you can possibly out there, and do the best that you can, except for the little guy. So they tell everybody in the world this. In your music, in your movies, who the hell doesn't want to dress like an American? Who doesn't listen to Kanye? Who doesn't listen to the Beatles? Who doesn't want to wear the cool clothing or see a football game or a basketball game or go golfing with Stevie? Everybody does. But the thing goes like this. When you get here, you realize they don't even want you here. That's a heartbreaking moment for me. As great as that was, as much as we things that we do, I know my life, without a doubt, is to be a walk in irony, to show people the human ability. And you don't know that this guy you're talking to is a homeless legal immigrant who now owns these teams.
Yeah.
That was the knowledge, right? That was the manifestation. That was the belief. So when I teach this, this is what I tell people. Not only am I teaching the basic reviewing of from them, I'm teaching balance. As you mentioned, I've been a kid for 15 years. I have friends, you know, I'm a busy guy, but I'm like, you're like, hey, I got to talk to you. I'm like, I pick up as soon as I can.
I know you do.
It matters, right? It matters to me because I try to do my best and give my all to everybody because it matters. But when you do these type of things, you have to rebrand the design, the imaging, things that we're doing, because everything, when I tell, one thing I tell my clients, I said, write down the client that you want. So they write it down. And I say, write down the amount of money you want to make. And they write it down. And I say, I want you to be honest with yourself. Look at yourself. Do you match this brand and do you match this money? The answer is no.
Right.
Exactly. Their brand doesn't match the brand that they want. The money that they want, they don't act. Their social media doesn't show it, because you know that the new online resume is social media. Make no mistake about it. No one asks you for a resume anymore. They go online. So if you're not building in every platform and spending the money, the $2-3 grand, building your product, Mr. B spends $15,000 a video. That's why he's a billionaire. Just we're on the same page here. Because the product of that product, most people won't spend the money on it. And the people that do, you notice a difference. It's like you know the difference between a crappy movie and a good movie. And that's where they're failing when they're doing this stuff, is because they don't understand what the current people want and how differently they want it. So someone that I'll have, I had this guy in the NFL, he didn't make the league, he didn't get drafted. Before he didn't get drafted, I said, listen, dude, here's what we're gonna do. Top pick, but he transferred. I said, we're gonna tag every single NFL team on your social media. Every single one of them, every single day until the day of the draft. And what are we gonna tag them in? We're gonna have 3 things on your story, 3 things on your post. We're talking about you play football, you're gonna do highlights. We're gonna have you working out, right? Showing that on your stories. When you play video games, you're gonna talk about the defenses and how you're breaking them down as if you're a commentator like Howard Cosell. This is the 2-3, this is the 3-2, this is why I'm running the nickel, the dime. So they understand that you understand the game. We're gonna highlight this, we're gonna tag them, and then we're gonna show that you're a God-fearing man. Because nobody wants to invest millions of dollars into something that's going to go into flames because they can't control their emotions.
Right. Exactly.
That's the last part I tell them. Right. Yeah. So now I'm picking between this 6'4" linebacker and this 6'4" linebacker who's 260 and 260, and they're both running 4.6s or 4.5s. Who am I going to pick? The one that's not going to burn up with an attitude problem.
Right.
Right. Yeah. What I did is I took
the that's got the background that showed everybody and stuff. So
Right. But what did I do? You don't know I came from the hood.
I know. That's why I watch. Hey, I got news for you. That's why I watch everything you do on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, man, because you got so much intellect, and knowledge that you're putting out there besides common sense, because a lot of it is common sense.
A lot of it's really just common sense.
Okay. All right. But the cool thing is that I go, and I might, everybody's got down days. Okay. We all do. There ain't no way that you're up 100%. I'm up 100% every day. Okay. There's days that we all know we're down a little bit, and we can go call Dave. I can go call Mike. I can go call Joe, whoever. And within 10 minutes of talking to him, bam, I got the juice back. I got the pizzazz to go work on what I need to get done. And so in doing it, it's really cool that, that you've got these different mediums out there. And all of a sudden there'll be something that pops up by David Chen that says, hey, this is what's holding you back. And you go, damn, I could have had a V8. Yeah, that's what's doing it. Let me go pick up the phone and go call 5 people to go register for the tournament. Or let me go tell 5 people what's going on in New Orleans. Let's talk about, hey, look, on Monday night, we got a party that the lieutenant governor of New Orleans is coming. Hey, the lieutenant governor has asked us, us nobodies, we're not NFL with multi-million-dollar throwing a gig. And he's like, hey, I want to come because Damon Baptiste, part of the music family of New Orleans is going to be there. And the governor says, hey, I want to come and hang out. I want to come meet people because the lieutenant governor's over tourism for Louisiana. It's not like I just want to come for an hour and just glad hand people. I want to show up all 4 days. Tell me what's going on so I can plan my schedule for 4 days to come hang out with David and Steve,
I appreciate that, man. It really is. I think what I realized is you don't know what you don't know, and people don't ask because if you're supposed to be the man, right? The boss. If you ask, you don't feel good, right? You ask your parents, they're always like, dude, what the hell's wrong with you? Right? You can't really talk to your friends about it. They might not be in that level. And then who you're going to talk to? Your employee who's looking up to you, who doesn't know how to do it. So
first off,
be in a circle.
Hey, first off, employers aren't looking out for you. Okay, we know there's a whole about HR.
A lot of them aren't, right?
Yeah, HR ain't looking out for the employee. They're looking out for the business to keep the business.
100%.
So the first thing you got to learn when you go there is your manager's not your friend. Exactly. Your bosses don't treat. And that's the hardest part for Stevie and people like you. We treat everybody equal. Like we're going to help people. We're going to pick them up by the bootstraps. Hey, you got a bad day here. Let me help you. Hey, you need to do this. You need to go somewhere. We're right there to help them when really we should be looking back going, oh, shit. We told them something we probably shouldn't have said, because it's going to come back to bite you, as they say, 2 steps forward, 1 step back or what have you, right?
You know, it's interesting. I agree. But here's what you were talking about earlier, and I want to talk about vibration, right? About how we met, because we talked about it. We were on a call. I was talking about gaming. You know, I can't even remember who set up on the call. I sort of so random, and then I didn't even know Reggie. I actually knew the guy that Reggie had coming in and speak. So that's how far off this was. Just so you know, it was actually not even Reggie. That's the first time I met Reggie too. Okay. So this is how crazy this world is. We talk about the vibration, about how people are meeting and how people can stay with you and off. So I look at it as a tune, a radio station. When you're off, you're not on the exact radio station you want to be, right? So you're having an off day, you're off tune, let's say it's 102.1, but you feel a little bit of 101.9. You're off tune. The thing is, most people don't realize they're off tune because they're not present and they're not conscious. They're too busy thinking about other things. What's going to go on tomorrow? What's going to happen now? What's the worst case scenario? Oh my God, life is this, life is that, whatever they're thinking. So they're not in tune and being present. So I talk about this as the Christmas spirit. I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. In business and in life, where you most fail is when the person doesn't feel that you care. That's what it comes down to, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, what I've learned is it has to be an equal transfer of energy. I can't just keep giving. You must give back. That's fair. That's equal, right? So
Yeah, exactly.
That's from what we did in our childhood, being parental parents, helping people, knowing that if we didn't help, there was no value because we couldn't eat, we couldn't survive. So our whole lives are like that. That's why we're the same person. I know that, right? Without even have that conversation, I already know that about you, right? So Here's the second part of it, right? But then there comes a point where you want it to be fair. And in business, and a lot of our business guys were the exact same way. We want it to be fair. We want to do it the right way and make things work, and we don't get it. And here's the reason I think this is what it is. When you're off tune, you have to have the ability to be in tune. So it's a complete consciousness. In other words, the way you were saying it is the people around you, a lot of times you don't have choice. But there's scientific studies that if you stay in tune, it's going to work. So Christmas is an example. Why are we in the Christmas spirit? Why is everyone nicer? Because it's in the movies everywhere. It's on every radio station. It's everywhere you see it. Everybody's talking about it. It's decorated everywhere you go around the world. So your vibration, your consciousness is to be fucking nice to people during Christmas and not to be a McAsshole, right? Because you don't want to be that dad or you don't want to be that kid, and we often, do. But your consciousness is in your face. What happens on the 26th of January? That one station that plays Christmas music is done at 12:01. So now you're starting to listen to all this other stuff. So when I tell you what you just said is what you are looking for in the group that we provide is a vibration of inspirational business people who want to learn, who do equal exchanges of energies that we can connect directly to the decision makers at my events, at our events that we're putting together. That's the difference, right? Where kings and queens, United Nations and government people and businesses come here, where sponsors are going to get the people they want to meet or the celebrities that they want to hang out with. That's the significant difference, is being able to do that together. If you stay in your consciousness, the music you listen to is a big thing. Wake up in the morning, I meditate, I do brain tap, which is a neurological thing that I take that helps me with my mood. So right before you, I was like, I need 10 minutes. I had to rechange my brainwave so I can be where I have to be to do what I have to do here. But I'm very aware of this. And let me tell you the difference, Stevie, since I've been aware of this. I'm now aware of not to speak. I'm aware when I'm getting taken advantage of. I'm aware of all the intricacies. The Buddhists do this thing where they take a monk and they make him walk the same thing every single day. The reason is they're supposed to look and find something beautiful and new every single day that we overlook on our typical routes.
Okay.
We're not present. We're not here to make the things work the way we're too busy worrying. So it's almost counterintuitive of succeeding, right? And success. So I'll tell you the second thing, and this is probably really realized. No matter how hard you're working, no matter what you do, doing everything you can do, everything you have to put together, everything you have, you're working hard, all these people. There's something that's happening where you yourself are self-sabotaging, and it's the same thing you've done your whole entire life, right? Subconsciously, relationships.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
I teach how to break that self-sabotage because I've done it, right? We identify it, but we don't do it in a way that's like you're bad. You don't know it because it's a business issue or it's a personal issue. That's the core. That needs to change very quickly so that you can then, like a rubber band, move forward and hit the target, because the way you've been doing it, you keep missing a target. It's almost like hiring a trainer to retrain you how to run, even though you're the fastest man in the world. They do that, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's me, right? I'm the guy who does it because I won the goal at Deloitte doing billions, right? I've won it outside of Deloitte with FaZe doing another billion transactions, right? Like I've done it. So I'm telling people what has happened, but I live in the real world like a competitive athlete because I hang out with all these people, right? So at a 44-year-old, most 44-year-olds aren't hanging out with 20-year-olds and at the parties and everywhere else. I just happen to be there. And then they can't be on the business side of things. I just happen to be in both. So I'm taking all the knowledge from the current marketplace the kids are telling you and the old school mentality, putting that together. And that's how I help find business. When I find what you want, then I know what your business is. Podcast, core marketing, whatever it is. Then we work with it, because if you don't like the business, like me, like big wigs understand it, then there's no reason to do it. That's the biggest thing, is you have to actually like it. And so I identify that and go from there. And then we go to our groups. So you're hanging out with all these celebrities, people every month. That's the circle you want. That's how money is made. It's like the Sandlot. People are together. It's not all around different places. You have to raise your vibration and maintain your vibration. And here's the third part.
Exactly. Yeah, right? For sure.
And here's the part that I really realized. Think of it like everything we do our whole entire lives. We've gone through so much trauma and so many issues. And then we pray and we get mad because we don't get it. We want to do something, or we get mad because it wasn't done. So I'm going to give you the hard-hitting facts of faith and manifestation and belief, right? So I believe in myself. I'm going to do this. I believe in God or source. I'm going to get this done. I have a target. It's going to happen. So that's what we all say, right? We say the prayer, right? Yep. We shoot it up in the air, right? And we go from there. But this is what we do wrong. And it took me 43 years. I didn't even realize this last year until this year to realize it. I'll tell you what it was. I'm going to use pizza. When you call in and you're hungry, you want a pizza, you have to physically think of the manifestation, the belief of getting that reward, which is pizza. It's a mindset,
right. Yeah.
Right? You don't wake up and say, fuck this dog shit pizza, I'm not going to eat it. Right? I got to go eat it every day. You're like, I can't wait to get this pizza, I'm fucking starving. So good intentions, I want it. If you use that analogy in life and job, if you're already saying this pizza is going to suck, the pizza is going to suck. First part, intention and attitude. Second thing, right? I order the pizza. When I place the order of the pizza, I have to have an objective. Just like where I'm praying, I'm doing business. What do I want? So I'm very specific of what I want. I have tried enough pizzas to know I don't want this type of pizza.
Right,
That's
exactly.
Experiences in life and all the business mistakes, and then you finally realize you just want pepperoni. Cool.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
You know what you want. You're intentional. You have the objective. You're making the order. Most people in business don't know what they want. So it's like they're looking around like this in life, trying to figure out what they want. Oh, I want to make a lot of money. How? How are you going to do it? What's the steps? Tell me what you're doing to educate yourself or hire people to make more money, because obviously you're here, and if you can make more money, you would have already done it. So the only way to do it is hire some people and break your education comfort level, right? So tasting different pizzas. But here's the part that's going to really get you. You order the pizza. And what do you have to order the pizza? You go on your day and you do what? You live life and the pizza comes in. You put faith into an order to food for your survival to a random person that you have no idea, who's most likely scratching their balls making the fucking pizza.
Right.
Then you have another person who's delivering the pizza, probably 19, 20, delivering the pizza. And you put more faith in the order of the pizza than you do in yourself, in business, and in God. And I tell you why. Because unlike the pizza, you're calling in the fucking order every time you don't get what you want. You're pissed. You're mad. That's like you calling pizza and going, where's my pizza? Where's my pizza? I didn't get my pizza. I'm mad. You're mad that the pizza wasn't delivered in the time that you want. That's right. That's what prayer and faith is. That was the fundamental difference.
You know, and I tell everybody,
you can't come back out. Right? Exactly. That's what it is.
You know, everything's based on faith, right? We got faith. You're driving down the street that the guy coming at you is going to stay on his side of the road. You got faith coming to the stop sign, 4-way stop. Everybody's going to stop. So everything is a faith-based type of deal, you know? So look, I know that we're going to have a good time of doing the training, looking out for people, inviting more people into the circle, educating more people coming in New Orleans, because, you know, we got you now. We got that room upstairs to do that, the gaming part. We got Reggie downstairs, you know, to do his financial workshop. You know, one nice thing about it, the older I get, the more I learn. So it's kind of cool that, I learn something new every day. So, we got that little golf tournament, on Tuesday. So the schedule is pre-tournament on Monday in New Orleans on February 3rd. Got the golf on February 4th. We got the whole entire golf course. So we can set it up however we like. We can have people running around, people with all the golf carts going, checking on people, talking trash. We can get whoever wants to come out there and just hang out. They don't need to play golf. They can come out just and meet people, right? Learn from everybody. Same thing with the kids. Any kids that want to play golf, they're welcome to come play, come enjoy the company, learn from all of us, because that's what we love to do is give back. Wednesday, we got your workshop, Reggie's workshop, a little pickleball mixer, live music Wednesday night. Thursday, we're going to go see the kids. We're actually going to go to Children's Hospital, go see the kids, probably take Damon Baptiste and others to play some music, hand out autographed caps to the kids at Children's Hospital on Thursday. Then Thursday night, throw a celebration cigar party out there at the golf course with. And the nice thing is, because there's a lot of people, that want to hang out with people but don't smoke. Well, they don't have to worry, because besides the tent of having live music and everything in there and adult beverages, well, outside we got cornhole that they can play cornhole. We got a putting, we got number 9 green that they can putt on the green. They could go to the driving range, hit balls. The pickleball course lit, so if anybody wants to go out there and hold a cocktail in one hand and a pickleball paddle in the other hand, can go play a little pickleball. So we got a lot of going on that Thursday, that whole week of 4 days. Besides, they get to meet David Chen.
There's me, you. No, I'm excited. I think it's going to be a great thing, a great opportunity, and I think that we'll be able to do a lot of amazing things and just have a good old time, man. I'm excited.
Hey, I know this much. Normally, Stevie won't sit in the front row of workshops, but I know when I come to yours, I'm sitting in the front row because I'm going to suck all this up.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I'm excited to have the workshop over there during the Super Bowl time at New Orleans, at our event. And I think we'll do amazing things. We'll be able to help with the crypto and understanding that and teaching a little bit of blockchain, a little bit of gaming, and a little bit of the investment side of things. I think will be good too. So we'll work on it, man. I'm excited about doing that. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and I'll send you a picture of what the room looks like. It's got the projector, it's got a screen, it's got everything you need AV wise. So, we can even find you a whiteboard if you want to go old school and write on the whiteboard. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, people might like it. I appreciate it, man. I'll definitely have that happen. And then when we wrap it up here, I'll go check out my dad. I'll jump on a call with you again.
Go ahead. Jump on, take care of your dad. Family always comes first. Hey, pick up that phone and call Paige and tell her that she can now start promoting David Chen's workshop so we can get all your buddies and your connections to show up to play a little golf on Tuesday. You can hang out for your workshop.
Yeah, I'll definitely put that together and work on it. I have we'll talk to Paige after this too, but I'll give you a call when I'm done with this and we'll rock and roll.
Hey, no problem. Hey, David, I appreciate you taking the time to come on the show. I learned a lot. Every time I talk to you, I got to call your buddy Mike Lucas so he can educate me down on my level of understanding. Okay? Because
man, you're super. Thank you. You're the best, buddy. I can't wait to see you. I'll give you a call shortly, man.
All right, man. You're the best too. Hey, have a great Sunday, and we'll get together and talk later. Okay?
Yes, sir. God bless. Bye-bye.
God bless you.